It can be hard to believe, but the start of a new school year is just a couple of weeks away now, and planning ahead can really make all the difference in ensuring that your child has a healthy and safe start to the school year. So here to provide some tips is Dr. Christy Perkowski, a pediatrician with Northern Light Mercy Hospital. Christy, thank you so much for, I should call you Dr. Perkowski, but thank you so much for joining us. So, you know, we see kids that head back to school, they've got the heavy backpack strapped to their back. So how do you balance the proper weight versus making sure they have everything they need inside?
It's true. Well, thankfully, you can choose a backpack that will help to distribute the weight a little bit better when you're packing their bag, making sure the heaviest items go in first and are closest to the child's back. That will help. Using both straps, which is, you know, not all kids want to do that, but it is helpful to distribute the weight, and making sure that the straps are padded is all really helpful, and ensuring that the weight of the backpack is not more than 10 to 15% the weight of the child.
That's a good tip to remember. You know, and heading off to school, speaking of backpacks, you know, you want to say, you know, great start to the day, breakfast, most important meal of the day. We often hear that, but you know, sometimes my kids, other people's kids, picky eaters, or they're not really into breakfast. What do you suggest?
You know, we know that sending kids off to school with a full stomach is really important. It impacts their ability to focus and really just be engaged in their school day. We know how we feel when we're hungry. It is really distracting. So being creative with a child that maybe doesn't have enough time to eat in the morning or isn't hungry right away, considering grab and go items like breakfast bars, smoothies, seeing if your school offers a school breakfast, these can all be really good options.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, getting off to the school bus. So we've talked about the backpack, the breakfast, getting off to the school bus. I know a lot of friends, you know, whose kids are taking the bus for the first time. That can be a little bit daunting, not only for the child, but for the parent. Are there any kind of safety tips that you have for that?
Absolutely. So it's something you can practice before school starts. You know, what time will we have to be walking out the door to give ourselves enough time to be at the bus stop in time? That way you're not rushing, because if you're not rushing, you can be mindful of your surroundings and be safe. You know, I think a lot of times kids are excited at the school bus stop. There might be a little bit of horseplay, and, you know, keeping calm, being aware of your surroundings, especially when you're near the street, is important. And of course, reminding your child to really listen to the school bus driver. You know, safety on the school bus is so important. So staying in your seat, keeping your arms inside the bus at all times, and making eye contact with the driver before they cross the street is really important for their safety.
And what if they walk or maybe ride their bike or a scooter or something?
That's great for kids that can walk or ride their bikes to school. Of course, for bike riding, helmets every single time. It's so important. And in terms of when children are planning their route to school, making sure that they're staying on main roads, using sidewalks, staying with a group if they're traveling in a group, and never getting into a vehicle with an adult, even if they know them, without their child's permission.
What else? I mean, you and I in the break were talking about, you know, the variety of illnesses that are probably coming our way. All the parents at home know what we're talking about. Is there any other advice that you have or tips for a healthy and safe school year?
Absolutely. So part of keeping yourself healthy is getting adequate sleep. And I think a lot of times what happens is in the summer, the children are just staying up a little bit later than they would during the school year. But when they stay up later, they sleep in later, and then it's hard to get up in time for school. And so if you start dialing your child's bedtime back now, that can help with getting up a little bit easier in the morning, and then having plenty of time to get their breakfast, get their backpack packed, and getting to the bus stop with plenty of time that they don't feel frantic or frazzled. So dialing that bedtime back now is really important.
Look at us. We went full circle. We covered it all, from bedtime to getting off to school. All right, Dr. Perkowski, thank you so much for your tips. Always appreciated. Thanks for joining us.